So finding a comfortable seat. You can offset your feet, maybe have half lotus or full lotus if it's comfortable. And let's just take a big breath in. Open up our mouth, a beautiful sigh out. Sip in the breath, inhale. Gentle exhale. 2 more like that. Breath in. And we'll sip 1 more full inhale. Mouth open, make some noise, sigh it out. Just allowing yourself to settle on your mats. Feeling your sits bones root, that beautiful tall spine. Hands resting on top of your thighs, or we turn our palms up for more of an act of receiving this morning. So just notice, take in, before any movement, just take in how you're feeling energetically. Maybe you're sleepy, you've got a lot of energy this morning, just checking in. And then let's notice our mental activity. Are we already planning, judging, planning our day forward? Just notice what's going on. We're not trying to change anything, just taking in our mental temperature. And then drawing ourselves into our heart space. These past 6 months, these past several weeks, we've just had a lot that we've been taking on emotionally, and just noting how that feels in the body. Again, we're not trying to change it, just noting it, noticing maybe where we're holding in our bellies, our jaw. And finally, let's draw our attention to our breath. So for the next 60 minutes, it's all about riding that inhalation and exhalation, whatever the practice, whatever the posture is that we're working on, that we have that constant flow in and out through the nose. So let's take 1 more full inhale. We'll exhale it out. And inviting you to bring your hands to your heart center, bowing your forehead to the tips of your fingers. We set an intention or dedication for our practice this morning. And let's lift our head, flutter our eyelids open. Allowing your hands to come onto the tops of your thighs. Let's bring our chin towards our chest. Left ear, left shoulder. And we'll gently open up our throat. Eyes are bright. Right ear, right shoulder. Now follow that circle around. Take it slowly. Steady breathing. And finish that last circle. We'll come back to neutral. And we'll draw that chin back towards our chest again. Our right ear, right shoulder. Just gently open up our throat. Left ear, left shoulder. And we'll follow those circles around. So just allow the head and neck to move here. Keep the body still. Our breath is constant and steady. Nice, we'll come all the way back to center. Take that left hand up and over to the right ear and just draw that left ear back to your shoulder. You can walk that right hand out. Finding that grounding position with your fingers. A beautiful tall spine. That navel is engaged. And we'll release the hand and right hand up and over to the left ear. Draw that right ear to the shoulder. You can walk that left hand out a little further. Anna, you have a cat joining you this morning. Another breath here. Finish that exhale. Let's release and just take your feet flat on the floor, and we'll just give ourselves a nice big hug this morning. So forehead towards your knees. Now we'll lengthen through the back of our neck, giving yourself a nice hug this morning. And we'll lift our head and find our way into downward dog. So hands to the floor. Let's just pedal out our feet. Just shake out that head. And then we begin to find our stillness in our downward dog. Soften those knees, press your chest closer to your thighs. Maybe find a little more lift through those sits bones. Heels draw to the mat. And we'll walk our hands all the way to the back of our mat. Deeper bends in those knees. Maybe take your chest on your thighs. Let your head be nice and loose. You can always find opposite elbows. If your hands can come flat on the floor, feel that contact with the earth. Shake out that head. When we change our minds, shake it up and down. And we'll interlace our hands behind the back body. Find that halfway lift. Crown of the head towards the floor. We draw our hands away from our back body. Soften through the toes, spread them wide. We find that halfway lift, opposite thumb on top, navel in and up towards the spine. Melt forward, crown of the head towards the floor. Drawing your hands further away from the back body. And gently release the hands to the mat. Walk your dog forward. Keep your feet where they are. And let's draw those big toes into a center line. We'll inhale to high plank. Squeeze those ankles together. Navel in and up towards your spine. Breathe into the back body. So I want you to lift that back body a couple of inches. That connects with our core. Looking good, Stacy. Breath is steady. 2 more breaths here. Really rooting through those hands. Take 1 more inhale. Lift those sits bones, downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Now open your feet hips distance apart. We turn those toes in slightly. We inhale back to high plank. So imagine it's like a wave. So maybe you lift the back body some into a wave-like movement. You're on the balls of the feet. Hug the muscles to the bones. Now breathe into that back body again. Find that brightness that engages everything. Squeeze those muscles to the bones. There might be a little bit of shaking, warming up the body, connecting with the breath. Beautiful. We take another full inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Last time, we walk our feet to the edges of our mat. Our toes turn in slightly. Our heels are lifted like a wave. We find our way into high plank. Those shoulders directly over those wrist creases. Our fingers are spread wide, creating as much surface area as we can. We take another breath in here. 5 counts to slowly lower to the mat. You can drop to the knees. Otherwise, hug those elbows in. Move slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes. Press the tops of the feet to the earth. Squeeze those elbows in and just lift the heart. So notice, imagine you have Sharpies markers on the top of your shoulders, and you want to turn those Sharpie points up towards the sky. Nice. Now squeeze those elbows in. Take a little more lift here. On an exhale, slowly take that left ear to the floor. Pause here for just 1 breath in, 1 breath out. We come back to neutral. And again, I'm trying to get you to open up those shoulders. So one more time, you've got those Sharpie markers. You want to lift the heart and turn the points up towards the sky. Tops of the feet root, maybe find a little more height. And we'll take the opposite, the right ear to the floor. Back to neutral, tuck those toes under. My legs are engaged, the kneecaps are off the mat. In one breath, we press through high plank. Beautiful, nice. Downward dog, exhale. Let's lift that right leg. Point through the toes, bend the knee, stack that right hip on top of the left. Yawn that right knee up towards the sky. Keep lifting that right knee. Spin the chest towards the floor. And lift that knee one more time, a little higher. Straighten through that right leg. Close those hip points towards the earth. That right leg's gonna come down a bit. And take that knee to the nose. Exhale and point through the toes. 3 more like that. Breath in, breath out. Last 2, we track our shoulders over the wrist creases. Exhale, extend through that right leg. Last 1, knee to nose, hold here and pulse for 5, 4, use that core, 3, we lift between our hands on 2, on 1, we find our high lunge. So from that foundation, we come all the way up. We take a full breath in, complete that exhale, and release the hands to the floor. First vinyasa, nice, right leg back, high plank to low. A cobra or upward dog. Downward dog, exhale, eyes towards the back of the mat. Our left leg lifts. We bend the knee and stack the hip. Now shake out that head, fingers spread wide. Now lifting that kneecap a little higher, you're spinning that knee up towards the sky. Our chest is still parallel to the floor. Imagine you're puffing up right underneath that right armpit. Steady breath. Now straighten through that left leg. We squeeze the knee to the nose as we shift our weight forward. The shoulders are over the wrist creases. Beautiful. Now find that length, point through the left toes. Inhale, squeeze our knee to the nose. Our core is activated. Beautiful. Now find that length. 3 more. Breath in and breath out. Last 2. And extend. Last 1. Knee to nose. We pulse for 5, 4, 3. Look between your hands. 2. On 1. Step it forward all the way up into high lunge. We're drawing our arms past our ears. Melt into that left thigh, engaging that right thigh, press through that right heel, drop into the hips, take 1 more breath in. Beautiful. Vinyasa, hands to the floor, looking good, everyone. High to low plank, a cobra or up dog, downward dog, exhale. Eyes are soft, gazing at the back of the mat. Heels are lifted. Stay in your downward dog. Let's just open up our, warm up our calves a little bit. So lift those heels as high as you can. Then draw them back to the floor. Hands stay exactly where they are. We're just lifting those heels and draw them back to the mat. 2 more like that. Inhale, open up the arches of the feet, press into the balls of the feet. Draw the heels down. And last 1, we lift those heels, activate them to the earth, and let's lift that right leg again. And take the knee to the nose, squeeze, shoulders over the wrists, and extend. Now we take that knee outside the right shoulder or elbow, maybe connect it, and reach through the toes. Draw the knee across to the opposite shoulder, and extend, and find high lunge. Come all the way up. Keep the body where it is. In that high lunge, we're gonna blossom open to the right. Come back to neutral and blossom open to the other side. And lift the hands up high. Again, just open to the right. Our lower body stays where it is. Track that right knee over the right ankle. Back to center and twist to the left. A beautiful tall spine. Back to crescent lunge. Now we'll find Virabhadrasana 3. So push off that back leg. Close that left hip to the earth. Let's bring our prayer to our heart center. And from here, lift those shoulder points, that upward dog. Finding our breath. David, lift that leg higher. That's it. 2 more breaths here. We take another full inhale. With control, step that left leg to the back of the mat. Back through high lunge. Gorgeous. Vinyasa, hands to the floor. Right leg back. High to low plank. A cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Exhale, eyes towards the back of the mat. So start with your toes in the center line. We extend that left leg high. Squeeze the knee to the nose, shoulders over the wrist creases. Now lengthen, point to the toes. Take that knee outside the left elbow or shoulder. Maybe it can connect. Now extend. Now we're drawing that knee outside the right elbow or shoulder. Extend and find crescent lunge. Come all the way up. Beautiful. Melt into the hips, track that left knee over the left ankle. Our body stays, our lower body, everything from our hips down stay where it is. We open to the left. Tall spine, press through that right heel. Now our arms lift, we come back to neutral, and we open in the other direction. Can you drop into the hips, press through that right heel. We come back to neutral. So we'll open up to the left again. That left foot is rooted, spread through the toes. Arms reach up high. We open up to the other direction one more time. So reach your hands in opposite direction. Notice if you're leaning forward, I want that tall spine. Drop into the hips. Beautiful, back to neutral. Now we'll find Virabhadrasana 3. We push off that back leg. Bring your hands to your heart center. You have those Sharpies on your shoulders. You want to lift those points of the Sharpie up towards the sky. That's your upward dog. Now lift that right leg a little higher. Left foot is rooted. We find our balance here for 2 more breaths. So eyes are eye level. Can you lift that right leg a little higher? Gorgeous. Now step that right leg back. High lunge in your vinyasa. Hands to the floor. High to low plank. Warming up the body here. Cobra or upward dog. And downward dog. We pause and breathe. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Shake out that head. Steady breathing. Let's lift that right leg up towards the sky. We'll find a low lunge. So hands outside that front leg. Easy twist. Left hand on the inside of the front foot. Right hand high. So tracking, hugging that right knee and left shoulder in towards that center space. You can open that right hand, spin your chest up towards the ceiling. And we'll lower that right hand down. Step it back into downward dog. So we're sticking with that right leg. We're going to lift that right leg high, bend the knee, and stack the hip again. So we're reaching that right knee up towards the sky. Close the chest to the earth and imagine you're increasing air in that left armpit. So you're blowing it up. Keep spinning that right knee up towards the sky. We stay here or we flip our dog. Both feet root. We lift those hips. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. Maybe you can turn it into a back bend. Steady breathing. For 3. Good morning, Ringo. 2. And on 1, watch that right hand as it comes to the floor. Our right leg is still lifted. We lower it down to the mat and we cycle through a vinyasa. So high plank to low. A cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Exhale. Eyes towards the back of the mat. So this time, left leg lifted high. And we find that low lunge. Hands outside that front foot. Drop into the hips here. Now easy twist. Right hand on the inside of the left foot. Left hand goes wide. It goes up. So we spin that chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe drop that left hand. Energetically, that left knee and right shoulder hug into the center of your space. We take another breath in. On an exhale, that left hand comes to the floor. We step that left leg up. Stack that left hip on top of the right. And track that left knee up towards the sky. So spin the chest to the floor. That left knee comes down a little bit. Now spin that left knee up towards the ceiling. We stay here or flip your dog. Both feet root. We lift those hips. Left hand up and over. So take the tension out of the head. Your eyes are open. Our breath is steady. Now lift those hips, everyone, a little higher. Maybe reach that left hand closer to the mat. For 3, for 2, on 1, that left hand comes to the floor. Left leg up. We lower it down and cycle through a vinyasa. High plank to low. Cobra or upward dog. Pause here for a moment. Let's look over our right shoulder. Back to neutral. Gaze over your left shoulder. Back through center, roll over your toes, downward dog. And let's find the child's pose. First child's pose this morning. Big toes touch, drop those hips, melt into the heart, forehead to the floor. Move your forehead on the mat. Connect each finger pad to the floor. Find that breath. Begin to deepen that breath. We'll take one more full inhale. Complete that exhalation. We'll come onto our hands and knees, onto our forearms, setting up for our dolphin. So options to interlace those fingers or keep hands flat. We want to keep this posture as safe as possible. Shoulders over those elbows. We tuck our toes under. Lift those sits bones. Drop that head. Take tension out of your head and neck. And walk your toes towards your elbows till you find that resistance. Back up a little bit. And then allow the heels to draw to the floor. You can bend those knees. But allow the shoulders to do the work here. You're rooting through those forearms. If you want to take it a little further, take that left foot in the center of the mat and extend that right leg up towards the sky. More weight is in the forearms. You can find those little hops. Maybe turn it into a balance posture. 3 or 4 hops on that side, then lower that right leg down to the floor. Left leg lifts. Find the balance here or work on little hops, playing with your balance. Everyone lower that left leg down. Keep your forearms where they are. We just walk the legs back into forearm plank. So keep the posture safe. Breath is steady here. 30 seconds on the clock. So melt through the heart. Just trace that breath in and out through the nose. Looking good, everyone, for 3, for 2, On one, just come all the way down to the floor. We'll do another set, but let's just come all the way down. Take your left ear to the floor. And we'll take our right ear to the floor. And back to neutral. Just hands press up onto your hands and knees. So we'll do one more setup. So if you're, one more dolphin. So if you interlace your fingers, take the opposite thumb on top. Otherwise, exact same setup. Keep the posture safe, tuck those toes under, lift those sits bones, drop the head, walk the toes forward. You find that resistance in the body, back up a little bit. Everything connected with the floor. You're rooting, finding length. Stay here or take a leg up. Again, you can play with that balance. You can always take this next to, close to a wall, next to a wall. So if you want to work on any other, going a little further in any of your balancing postures, now's the time to take the opposite leg up. Maybe explore some of your balance. Beautiful. We'll lower that leg down and just keep your hands where they are. Walk your feet back. Last 30 seconds, forearm plank here. Shoulders over those elbows. Navel is engaged. Looking good, Cookie. Now lift that back body. Steady breathing here. Calm the body down by slowing down the breath. Last 3. Last 2. We'll take it all the way down. Last time. Left ear to the floor. Just a mini break here. Equal inhalation and exhalation. We'll take the opposite ear to the mat. We'll come back to neutral. Hands by your chest. Press through high plank, or we'll just meet in downward dog. Gorgeous. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Let's lift that right leg up towards the sky and step it forward into warrior 2. So I'm just going to change directions here. Arms swing up and around. Let's lengthen through that right leg, bump the hips back. So we're going to ride this setup for triangle. So reach the right fingers forward, feet are rooted, and we'll come back to neutral. Tall spine. Open up those collarbones and reach that right hand closer to the front of your mat. And we'll come back one more time. Last time for Trikonasana, triangle. Reach, 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 reach. Drop the hand, left hand up towards the sky, and we'll open up our shoulders this morning. So 2 or 3 revolutions in one direction. And we'll change direction. Finish this last revolution, that left ear up towards the sky. Turn the pinky towards the earth. Now everyone just close your eyes here. Feel this posture. For 3, for 2, on 1, we open up our eyes and find our way back into warrior 2. Nice. Straighten that right leg. Spin those right toes in. Left toes out. Drop into warrior 2. So we'll lengthen through that left leg, bump the hips back, and we'll ride this Trikonasana. So left fingers towards the back of your mat. Reach, reach, reach. Then we come back to neutral, a tall spine. Again, we're finding that length through the lower ribs. Left fingers go a little further. Steady breathing. Back to neutral. Hug those muscles to the bones. Activate the muscles. Last time, we reach, reach, reach. Trikonasana, let that hand fall. You can always use that brick. Right hand up towards the sky. And let's open up that shoulder. And we'll change direction. finish that last revolution. The right arm is high. We spin that right pinky towards the floor, draw that shoulder back into the socket, find that length. And we'll find our way back into warrior two. Nice. Straighten that left leg, spin those toes in, both arms up overhead. And let's hinge from our hip creases. Crown of the head towards the floor. Our fingers are in line with our toes. Maybe take a wider stance if this is challenging by opening up your legs. Crown of the head towards the floor. Bills reaching for opposite elbows. Just relax your face. More weight into the balls of the feet. Wait, let's practice by taking the weight into the balls of the feet and then draw more weight into the heels. Maybe lift those toes. So we're just moving backwards and forwards, playing with our balance, moving the weight into the balls of the feet and into the heels. Notice where you feel that in the body. So if you're reaching for opposite elbows, take your hands on the floor. Let's bend through that right knee, opening up those inner groins. Flex the left toes and find a tall spine. So maybe it's available to bring your hands to your heart center. You can stay supported. Again, a great time to use a brick to help you with that balance. And we'll come to the other side, left knee bends. We flex those right toes. Steady breathing. A beautiful tall spine. Looking good, Anne. So we'll take a bend again to the right. Really draw those left toes towards the forehead, towards the ceiling. We'll take one more side, left side. We bend that left knee, flex those right toes. Lift through the heart. We'll come back to neutral. Let's bring our hands on our hips. Inhale all the way up to the top. Draw those heels in. Drop those hips, and we'll cross our heart. Right hand, left shoulder, left hand, right shoulder. Go a little deeper into those hips. Tracking the knees over the ankles. We're moved through time and space for you here, David. So our right shoulder towards our right knee. Our chest is parallel. Our eyes are open. Left shoulder, left knee. Feel that stretch. Then we blossom up to the top. We change direction, left shoulder, left knee. Our chest is parallel. Right shoulder, right knee, all the way up to neutral. Inviting you to close your eyes. So let's just feel this. Right shoulder, right knee. Chest is parallel. Feet are rooted, connecting you. Then we come all the way up. My eyes are still closed. We'll change direction last time. Left shoulder, left knee. Chest is parallel, navel is engaged, in and up towards your spine. Right shoulder, right knee. We come back to neutral. Open up our eyes. Beautiful. Lengthen through the legs. You can release your hands. Heel toe those feet together and drop into your chair. Fingers towards the floor. Arms reach up. You can take that wider stance. We'll take that right elbow underneath the left. Rooting through that left foot, lift the right knee. Now find the wrap. Up and over, maybe behind the calves. We spin our knees to the right. Those major joints in the body are stacked. We tuck our tail under. Now lift those elbows. You feel it in that back body. Press your forearms towards the front of your space. Eyes are eye level. Lift those elbows a little higher. 2 more breaths. We take another full inhale. On an exhalation, release everything. That right foot to the floor, arms reach up. And we bring our prayer to our heart center, Samasti Tahi. Pause and breathe. Other side. So starting in chair pose, fingers towards the floor, arms reach up. Keep your feet where they are. Wrap the left elbow underneath the right. weight into that right foot. So just lift that left knee. Now find the wrap. Maybe take the toes behind the calves. My knees are reaching towards the right, so we want to spin everything, track everything into the center. Tuck your tail, lift those elbows, press your forearms towards the front of your mat. So you can find that, you can feel that in your shoulder blades. Breathe into that tightness. For 2 more breaths, those right toes are spread wide. Squeeze those thighs together. Drop those hips, go a little deeper. Nice. Now we'll release everything. We'll take a full breath in. Yes, we're going right into it. Right elbow under, right thigh up and over. Find that wrap. Lift those elbows. I'm going to take the side view here. Now let's draw those elbows towards the knees. Really breathe into that back body. Eyes are eye level. We stay here or unwrap that right leg. Spin the toes towards the earth. Now lift that right leg a little higher. We find that upward dog in the chest. Breath is steady. And with control, we'll take that right thigh up and over. Wrap the leg. Pause here for 1 full breath in. 1 full breath out. And let's release everything. Arms reach up. And we'll take the other side. Left elbow under. Left thigh up and over. So maybe you find that wrap, a beautiful tall spine. Squeeze those thighs together. Bend through that right knee, stay here, or draw the elbows towards the knees. So we're rounding that back body like an angry cat. Maybe the elbows and knees touch. Your eyes are open. Stay here or unwrap that left leg. Taking your time. Upward dog in the chest. Lift that back leg higher than you think you can. The toes are pointing towards the floor. Lift the chest and lift that leg for 3, 2, on 1. We take that wrap one last time. Pause here for 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Let's release everything. Full breath in. And Samastitihi, hands to heart center. Open up those collarbones. Spread the toes. Connect with that breath. So we'll flutter the eyelids open. We'll take 1 more balance this morning. We'll find our figure 4. So we take that right ankle on the left thigh, bend through that left knee. All kinds of stages here. You can stay right here, or we're drawing those elbows down towards that right leg. Maybe the elbows connect. If you want to go further, hands to the floor. You'll bend through those elbows. I'm going to wrap my right toes around my left shoulder. You take that weight forward, lift off that left leg, and elevate it up towards the sky. For 3, for 2, on 1, you slowly take that leg back, and everyone we rise. Take your time and release that leg. Samastitihi, pause and breathe. Slow everything down. We'll take the other side. So when you're ready, left ankle, move from your core. So let's just lift that left kneecap. We'll find figure 4. Can draw the ankle on that right thigh. You can always hold it if this is challenging for you. Hands at heart center. We begin to lower those elbows towards that bottom leg. My core is connected. The right toes are spread wide. And you pause where you find that resistance. If you fall out of it, it's okay. Maybe you make that connection. And maybe you want to explore that balance. Just start by taking the finger pads to the floor. The floor may be a lot further if you're
Here's my brick, here's my brick. You can always use the brick to bring the ground up closer. So all kinds of options. Just enjoy where you are right now. Looking good, everyone. Or go a little further. Maybe wrap the foot around the left toes around that right shoulder, weight into the hands, and that right leg elevates. For 3, there you go, Dawn, beautiful. You're stronger than you think you are. Upward dog in the chest, nice. And everyone will slowly rise. Beautiful work. Take that foot to the floor. Let's wipe the slate clean. A full breath in. We melt forward, Uttanasana. Find that halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back into high plank to low plank. Cobra or upward dog. Downward dog, exhale. We inhale to high plank and just allow your body weight to bring you all the way down to the earth. Take your time. Body to the mat, toes untucked. Let's take that right ear to the floor. Full breath in. Just sigh it out. Ah. One more inhale. Ah. We'll take the opposite ear to the floor. Steady breath. And we'll come back to neutral. So taking our hands out in front of us, identifying your right and left from one another. Right hand lifts, left toes are off the floor. Hip points are rooted. Find that length and lower all the way down. Left hand lifts, right toes off the mat. We're breathing here. Can you straighten through this arm? Yeah. Keep them where they are and just add the right hand and left leg. Hands are lifted. Pedal those feet for 5, 4, 3. We're still breathing. 2, and let everything go on 1. You can release hands alongside the body. Take the right ear to the floor. Pause and breathe. And we'll come back to neutral. We'll bend our knees, reaching around for our floor bow. So find your ankles, calves, maybe your toes. Great time to use a strap. We hug those knees in. This is a little more, if this is a little more challenging, Bill takes one leg at a time. So honor where your body is. Let's take all the air out of the body, deflate, then we inflate about a third. The thighs come off the floor, the toes are pointed, our chest is lifted. Sip in a little more breath. Maybe melt through the heart. Can you lift those toes a little higher? Take the tension out of the body. Last bit of the breath into the body. Buoyancy, brightness for 3. Relax your face. 2. We let it all go on 1. Let's take that left ear to the floor. Pause and breathe. We'll take one more version, but just let the body soften. So last time. So same setup. We'll bend our knees, reach around. Maybe you find a little deeper bend, but start with hugging those knees. Everything comes into that center. We squeeze all the air out. Then we begin to add brightness, buoyancy into the body. So about a third of the way, the toes are pointing up and towards the back of the space. Add a little more air. Relax your face, add a little more air. Maybe eyes up towards the sky. We're breathing for 3, for 2. We let it all go on 1. Windshield wiper those feet side to side. Nice. And we'll just roll over and find our way on our back body. Hug those knees in. And we'll wrap our arms around our legs and draw our forehead towards our knees. Stretch out that neck, pull your shoulders away.
and head and shoulders on the floor. Take your feet flat on the mat. Setting up, we'll do 2 bridges this morning, 2 bridges or full wheels if you want to go right into it. Go right ahead. Otherwise, we spin our palms up towards the sky. Let's start with our knees touching, our knees kissing. Notice everything that's connected with the floor. Now blossom those knees open, feet root, lift those hips up high, walk those shoulders underneath, look up towards the ceiling, maybe interlace those fingers. You can always support underneath your hips. Now lift your heels off the floor. We'll pulse them for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, heels down. Lift those hips 1 more inch and slowly unwind the body. Vertebra by vertebra, our knees kiss. We draw our hands to our belly. Pause and breathe. Soften through the jaw, the root of the tongue. So we'll take 1 more. I'm going to stick with bridge this morning. Otherwise, go into full wheel. We take our palms up towards the sky, lift those hips, walk those shoulders under. Steady breathing. Any modification you'd like, if you're sticking with the bridge version, full wheel. You're melting your heart forward. Let go of any tension in the head or neck. 2 more cycles of breath. We take 1 more inhale. Finish that exhalation and slowly unwind that spine. The soles of the feet connect, the knees open. Supta Baddha Konasana, a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly. Use your tongue to clean the inside and outside of your teeth. Open up your ears. Finding that breath. And we'll take that hand on your belly, put it over your heart space. Whisper gratitude, something you're grateful for in that heart space this morning. Eyes open, hands come to the outside of your knees. We squeeze those knees in and rock the spine. So a couple of rocks into our boat pose, Navasana. So stay supported or extend the legs, reach your hands forward, maybe lift those toes up towards the sky. We're breathing here. Cross your ankles, hands by your hips, you lift, and again, find that Navasana. So squeezing those knees together, reach those hands forward, you're balancing on those sits bones, maybe take 1 or both legs up towards the sky, find that breath. We'll cross the opposite ankle in front, hands by your hips, and we'll lift. Last time, Navasana. So stay supported if you're compromising that back. You want to lift through the heart, squeeze that core, find that steady breath, maybe challenge yourself for 3, for 2, on 1, opposite ankle, we lift, nice, and take your feet flat. So we're gonna take one more ab. We did this on Tuesday. We're gonna do 10 sets. If this was challenging, good, we'll do it again. Otherwise, you can take a modification. So we're going to set up for that tabletop. You can hold the tabletop here, or we bend through the elbows, lift, and take the opposite foot towards the hand. Hands to the floor. You bend, lift, cross. Bend, lift, cross. So again, if this is challenging, take a wider stance. Maybe you just lift a leg up to find that sensation. Otherwise, we've got a few more. Bend, lift, opposite hand is leg. We melt, lift, cross. Last 3, 2, Bill is modifying. On 1, lower it down, and we'll give ourselves one more big hug. Forehead to the floor. Breathe into that back space. Let's lift our heads, cross your ankles, and find your way into downward dog. Right leg lifts, and we'll find our pigeon on the right side. Left foot behind you. Untuck the toes. Walk those hands forward. So 3 to 5 cycles of breath here. Slow everything down. Maybe swallow again. So you can stay here in pigeon or lifting the heart. Let's take a bend in that left knee. Reach the hand behind you. Draw the heel in towards the outer hip. Beautiful quadricep stretch. You can always challenge yourself by lifting that right hand, finding mermaid, or just staying right where you are in pigeon. 2 more breaths. Another full inhale. If you bent that left knee, just release it. You can tuck the left toes under, come into downward dog, maybe cycle through a vinyasa. So listen to what your body's asking for. If you're tired, find that downward dog, and we'll find pigeon on the other side. The left leg lifts. You bend the knee towards that left thumb. Right leg extends behind you. Untuck those toes. Walk those hands forward. Settle in. Melt through the heart. Find that breath. Opening up your senses. Taste with inside the mouth. Staying here or going a little further. If you want to bend that right knee, reach the right hand behind. We draw the heel towards the outer hip. Spin the chest towards the front of your mat. Opening up that quadricep on that right leg, or finding that balance. Go a little further. You can release that leg. We tuck the right toes on. Actually, let's take weight into that left hip and swing both legs out in front of you. Take that extra flesh from underneath those sits bones. Flex those feet. Reach the arms up overhead and melt forward. Reaching for your ankles or toes. Breathe into your hamstrings. Bend those knees as much as you need to. Melt here. Crown of the head is reaching towards your toes. Really flex those feet. Find that breath. One more inhale. We finish that exhale. Inhale, lift the heart. Just bend that right knee. We'll open up that right knee. Right hand behind you. Left arm up. We lift those hips. Open up that front side of the body. Let the head be loose. And we'll slowly lower the hips to the floor. We extend that right leg. And we'll bend that left knee. Open up the knee. Lift the hips. Right hand up. Breath is steady. Can you lift the hips a little higher? Gorgeous. And lower those hips down. Left leg extends. One more Paschimottanasana. Arms reach up high. Soften through those knees. Reaching for toes, ankles, calves. So shoulders are softening away from your ears. Take another full inhale. Finish that exhale. We lift our hearts, reach our hands forward. Use that core to come all the way to the earth. And we'll take one final posture this morning. So our knees hug in. We cactus our hands out to the side. Drop your knees to the right. Take your gaze over that left shoulder. And we'll lift our knees high. Please take them in the opposite direction, taking your eye gaze over that right shoulder, or finding that internal gaze, softening the eyes. Last time our knees come back to center, we'll lower everything to the mat. Arms come alongside the body. Let's squeeze your face, your fingers, your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, we find our Shavasana. Find that next incoming breath and let it go. And move your toes and fingers. Let's take a beautiful stretch, reach the arms up, all the way up through the toes. And allow yourself to find your favorite side of the mat, just to curl up for a few breaths. And then we'll slowly find our way to a comfortable seated position. Hands at heart center. And a quote this morning shared from Don Harris. Do not forget that the ashes falling from the sky are all that remain of the pine and grass and thistle. They are also someone's loved ones, cherished belongings, irreplaceable items, beloved animals, wild animals, bears, coyotes, deer, and mice, and so many other creatures that could not escape. Scoop up some ashes in a sacred manner. Take it to your altar. Offer prayers for these beings. Honor their death. Pray for life. Call in rain. Remind fire that it is full, has gobbled enough, and can rest. May all beings be safe. May all beings be loved. May all beings be remembered. May all beings be mourned. So post on social media by Tamberly Eklund. So inviting you to join your hands at your heart center, bowing your foreheads to the tip of your fingers. The light within me honors and recognizes the light within all of you. We so appreciate you sharing your practice with us to have this community. Thank you all and have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe, spread love and light, and have a gorgeous day. Dawn, thank you so much.